It's good. I can't believe it's big.
I can't either. It's crazy.
Watch out.
You gonna get in the car after you?
Roadkill. Roadkill. This is so cool. They've never done this. I don't know what those things are. Gosh, those bucks are huge.
Yes, they are.
It's some good meat though. They gave us a bunch of it when we first got here.
Got a few things we want to try to accomplish tonight if we can. Chat where I can watch it in here. Oh, anyway, welcome into the tonight's build. We're gonna try to do a couple things tonight. Let me just check the stream real quick. Cool. All right. Somebody let me know if it gets all fucking weird or whatever. We were out of accelerator. Sorry about this. I need to change something real quick. I gotta pause that. We're gonna kill this thing. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. And I'm just gonna try to get. I have to have some music in my ears while I'm building, so yeah. Anyway, we've got some new accelerator that we're going to try. It helps to connect. It helps to connect to the right Bluetooth. All right, we got some new accelerator we're going to try tonight. I have not tried it yet. We're going to try that with the Zappic app. Okay, there we go. Okay, we have been using the spray. I like the spray. The problem with the spray is I have a hard time controlling the spray. So we've got some new spray accelerator. We ran out of the last one. I like this, the zip kicker. We're going to see if this is any different than the zip kicker. I do like the zip kicker. So we're going to see if tonight that's any different. All right, let me get back to my chat. Okay. Let me know if the audio goes weird. And all that good stuff, right? So, what was our project tonight? This. A couple things we need to figure out. We got some fuselage stuff we need to finish up. There's a bunch of other parts over there. I'm not going to even get into it, but we will. Okay. So, the Big Bobber by Plane Print. Big Bobber by Plane Print. You can see that in there. I guess that's the. You can see the Big Bobber. Anyway, so we've got a few things we need to do on the fuselage on the Big Bobber. We've got, oh my God, we've got a bunch of stuff we need to do. In fact, I'm going to have to probably go through the, I think my accomplishment tonight is to lay out the pieces that extend from here, right? So we've got, we need to glue this in, and then we need to build the entire tail section. That was our goal tonight. Yeah, we hope, right? We hope. So, how do we do that? Well, we got to get all the parts, right? So, where are all the parts at? Let's see here. Let's get stuff out of the way. We need to get this out of the way, really. We don't really need that right now. Although we need to, here's what we need to do. We need to go ahead and glue in the top so we can take this off and use this as a guide. So let's go ahead and do that right now. We did not glue in the front here in the install. Or did I? No, we didn't. Okay, let's take these out of here and we'll go ahead and glue that in. Be done with that. This stuff always gets so fouled. CA glue. Oh yeah, we're gonna use this stuff, right? So let's get that ready. And clear the tip. Ah, crap. I totally destroyed the tip of that glue by doing that because I have shaved it down so many times. All right, we gotta get another. Can't deal with that. And that reminds me, I need to order some more tips for glue. I'm running out of tips. So, I probably won't even be able to get that one off there. To be quite honest with you. Where? There we are. Oh, there it is. All right, let's get back to work. Small glitch in the system here, right? Just doing that. Screw back in there. Let's hit it with a little bit of kicker. I like that stuff. Let's hit this one too. Get that one glued in. And then we can take the back off. We have not glued the back of the fuselage on yet, so. Put that one in. All right, so now let's hit that. Set this way over here, because if that accelerator's anywhere in the area of that CA glue, if you don't put a lid on it, it will foul the top or foul the lip of it, right? So we'll do this over here. Let's hit it with a little bit of kicker. That's power stuff. It's more powerful than I thought, actually. That should last us a while. Okay. We'll take the back of the fuselage off. There's our lid that we need. Get it out of the way. Get this out of the way so we don't stab ourselves in the finger. And our next thing is lining up parts here for the fuselage. So we need to take the back side off here, and we have not glued that in. We've got screws in the bottom here. Hope my audio is okay. I'm watching chat just in case. I don't see anybody on chat yet, but I'm watching. All right. Take the back off here because we have to get all this stuff lined up. It has to be pretty much precision lined up with the tail section that's going to be back here, right? So we're going to get some gluing done here tonight, hopefully. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Happy St. Patty's Day on Friday. And yeah. All right, those out of here, and we can pull this out of here, which should leave the top canopy in place. Right? All right. Next, let's go ahead and set this to the side. We got to acquire some parts here. I'm going to have to look at the build plans. Build plans. Good stuff. Oh, I know what else I was going to do. I was going to start some other prints. And I am watching chat, by the way. I was just checking the stream, make sure it was all good. Holy crap! This is the build manual for this freaking airplane. Okay, half of it is. Let me take out the. Okay, this is the actual construction part, but this is the printing part. So this is all. If you, I don't know, this is from 3D Labs. No, this is from Plain Print. Okay, so this is all the information of all the print stuff that you've got to do just to get the prints done. There's a lot of stuff in here. There's the front of it. Right, so you got to do all this stuff first. That's the stuff behind me. All that stuff should be done. Hopefully I printed everything. You never know. I've gone through and checked off and put notes on here if I have printed them off or not, just to make sure I have printed them all this off. And if I had a problem, I made notes in here. And if you need to know set Cura settings, here's all the Cura settings, because each one of these STLs in here has different profiles. So you have to follow the profile. You'll see full body profile, you'll see hollow bottle profile, you'll see surface profiles for the wings and whatnot, or the control surfaces, and you'll also see somewhere in here is the flex profiles for the landing gear. Somewhere in here. So you have to follow the profiles at the back. It's not that difficult to set up, but you have to get that set up. So I have that set up in Cura. But that's just the print stuff. Okay? That's just the print stuff. So I can pretty much set that to the side at this point and concentrate on the construction material build, which we've done some of this. We haven't concentrated on the tail surfaces yet. We never follow the... On his videos, Troy McMillan, I would refer to Troy McMillan for our build stuff, and he does not build, on his video, he does not build the tail surface nor the wing first, right? But it's good to read through all this stuff and see how it goes together. First thing that we did accomplish was the gluing of the fuselage. Let me get this out of the way. The gluing of the fuselage, which you saw, right? So where did that go? Alright, so we have glued the fuselages together. 3 pieces here on the fuselage. We did glue them together. Those are glued together. 3 different lines here, and they do follow the build. We have also assembled the 2 side struts in the middle, which you'll see it assembled here. And if you go to the next page, you'll also see that it says, do not glue the back side, right? Do not glue the back side. And here it is. So we did not glue the back side. It's just to be glued in there so you can... So what you do first is you have to, you screw this together, and you have to glue this vertical V support in between the 2, but this has to be set before you can do that in the proper alignment. So, once again, I'll refer back to Troy. He does a pretty good job of explaining that build. Then, you take that out of there and everything's set, right? So this is what you get. So here's where we are, and you'll see the screws that you have to do, and you'll see where the V support, glues into the front, okay, and that's a secondary step. So we did already assemble the wings. I'll show you the wings. So there's that. Now in Troy's build, he did build, and I should have. I didn't. You know, it's funny when you're building this stuff. You pay attention to a lot of stuff. You don't pay attention to the really important stuff. So I did assemble the wings, but what I should have done is, like he did, is not build the 2, 3, and 4 on both sides. I should have just built this section and kept this section to assemble this to the fuselage and get all that going before I assembled 4, 3, and 2. So I made a mistake of gluing it all together. Not going to be a problem doing it access-wise or anything like that. Everything's printed pretty well. I do have both sides printed. And obviously I made a mistake with the carbon rods because I had, once again, it's funny watching videos and then doing it here. I wish I could watch, I probably can watch the videos and build it at the same time, but I'm trying to absorb the material mentally so I don't have to really do that and kind of go my own way with it, honestly. So next time I will not glue, if I build another these, I will not glue root 1 together with these other ones. I will leave that separate. I'll go ahead and glue these together, and then I'll glue root 1 to attach to the fuselage with the carbon rods. Right? Carbon rods slide through, for added strength, slide through 6 millimeters and they're both 6 millimeters on this one. Now, one build mistake. I thought, just watching the build video, that I was going to, like other wings, I was going to join them, right? Most wings, you just slide the carbon fiber and do it that way. Well, the reason why that is incorrect, and the reason why he did it the way he did it, is because you have to discern a lot of this stuff for yourself. So the carbon fiber goes actually through the fuselage, right? It's built where you can hopefully get it through there without breaking it. I haven't really prepared the fuselage for any kind of stuff, but I'll step on the freaking wing halves, right? Anyway, I was going to slide those through there if I could, because the carbon fiber goes through the actual middle of this here. I could probably get in through there, just don't want to break this. It's pretty strong, and it needs to be pretty much an interference fit anyway. The tighter, the better. Honestly, I just don't want to crack anything without it being reinforced, right? So what should have happened is, and the reason why I'll do it differently next time is, I should have glued on R1 and L1 first. That makes sense? Okay, if you're watching, because now actually my carbon fiber spars are not long enough, and those are not cheap, right? Those are not cheap. I can probably use this one for the back. This one I can. These are not cheap. These are 6 millimeters. There's one on the front, one back. But now they've become short. This was one, and I cut it, and I was like, okay. But being stupid, not watching videos. Now, is that in the instructions? Is that in the instructions? No. It's not. The assembly steps are here, but they don't tell you a lot of details, right? As far as like all the small little stuff you should know. So, this was a mistake. Unfortunately, will not make that mistake again because it cost me a lot of money. Okay, so that was a mistake because ultimately what happens is, instead of on this thing, and I should have, stupid not watching it, right? Instead of the wings being glued together, they're obviously attached, separated, and glued to the top of the fuselage, right? So that's how that mocks up pretty much. And then there's covers, so you got the ones that hold in the back of the pin, same way. So, but now, if you look, what happens is, let's say I center this, watch how far I can push this in. Now I'm short, right? Now I'm short another however many inches on this side. So now I got to cut another whole fiber or carbon fiber rod. So it's a little learning experience. This is my first bobber build, but it's been an interesting experience learning this. So I wouldn't say these are trash because these are expensive. I will recycle them in probably like a tail section or something like that or wherever. But kind of was a failure, just not thinking engineering-wise about that kind of stuff, right? All right. Is my sound good? Let me check my sound. The sound always fails. Make sure. Check. Okay. Yeah, I think it sounds good. All right. Anyway, back to the build. So we've done the wing. So we are on the wing. We'll set this to the side. What's left? This. Assembling the grid. This is going to be the bane of my existence, right? So this is going to be where this model breaks itself. If you're going to make it break a model, because alignment on a grid tail is going to be very difficult. So this I'm going to have to think about. It's a pretty lengthy process. In fact, it's so lengthy of a process, it comes with its own jigs for assembly. So when you print the model, it comes with its own tools to put the model together, which that's always a pretty complex model. If it comes with its own tools to put together, we're just going to slide this over here because it's the back side. I don't need it quite yet. But so now we have grid alignment tools. Okay. So now we've got to figure out, okay, so we've got to get all the parts together for this. So let's set these to the side because these are going to be the alignment tools as we're gluing things together. As we're gluing things together, we have to align them. Because if it's not straight, it's going to suck. Right? If it's not straight, it's going to suck. So let's think about all the parts. We need, let's take a look. We need, there are three sides of the grid. Let's just lay it out to get a sense of how big this damn thing's going to be, right? So, and I mark everything. I do mark everything. So this is left. All right, let's get everything together here. And go down this way. It's going to come over here. Grid right. Right with right, left with left. I do mark them because you better mark your parts. There's no way to memorize this stuff, okay? There's no way to memorize this stuff. So let's just mock up one. And something seems already off to me. Maybe not, because I just haven't watched all this yet, right? So, let's go ahead and just, once again, let's just mock this up. Now, okay, there's the two sections, and we're missing a third, which is going to be the tail section. So this is going to go down here, and these are going to mate, which they're going to be flipped up, obviously. And this will mate with these. But there's a lot of stuff that goes in between all this stuff. So let's get the two tail halves. There are so, like, literally, this is probably going to be one of the hardest builds I've done RC-wise. Probably a long time. I mean, this reminds me of a lot of balsa stuffs, right? So this is grid right. That one goes over here. And this is grid left. So this one goes over here. What is the top and what is the bottom? That matters. Are we actually flipped the right way? We should be. Are we flipped the right way? You know, nope, we're not. See? We're not flipped the right way. So this is why we mock up instead of just going crazy and start gluing, right? So we're not. Now it's looking more like a good puzzle. I was like, how the hell is that going to work? Okay, so that actually looks somewhat assemblable, assemblage. And then this is, which one's the top and which one's the bottom? The upper part of the grid, the upper part should be longer, right? The upper part should be longer. This would be the upper part, and it's going to be longer down the tail. So which side is longer? Whoop. Upper side, I think. Once again, these are the parts that you have to pretty much discern for yourself. And if it would be interesting if they would have put the assemblies slightly off kilter, so you can look at the plans and go, okay, this one's a little bit more aft or this one's a little bit more forward, but you can't tell that from the plans. I think what we'll do, Okay, let's look at the tail. Okay, so what's different here is the tail here. So that's going to be the telltale. If we get this the right direction, obviously the pivot for the tail wheel, or what side is the pivot for the tail wheel? This is the bottom side, that's the top side, right? So yeah. Have we missed? Did we do the wrong side? Did we print 2 of one side? Is that incorrect? I think we did. Unless we can just flip this one like that, right? So that's, if that's the case, let me think about this. This becomes at the top of the fuselage. This is the top of the fuselage. This is the bottom, and this slots in here, finishing. So they mate up, turn 90 degrees, like that. Does that seem logical? I think it does. Huh. The only truly way to tell, now I'm curious about the tabs on the bottom. If I look on the build plans or the attachment points, I think one way to do this, if I really want to, I'll tape it all together and check, just to make sure that things, if I turned them up and they're in, where the bottom supports. We have, yeah. Okay, so all the supports past this are just single piece supports, basically. I'm going to have to go watch Choi's assembly again just to make sure I do this correctly. I do remember in the video what he does is he mocks up all this stuff. He gets it all pretty much glued in except for the pieces. There's a bunch more pieces, right? There's a bunch more pieces. All these pieces right here are pieces that are the top and the bottom, and they're individually glued in on all their slots, right? So these are the other stuff, and they are basically the top and the bottom of the fuselage. So there's no grid for the top and the bottom. You basically put this up there, and then you glue these in. So that's going to be pretty challenging. I do remember in the video he did assemble the tail surfaces. So, because the tail surfaces you use to basically, before you glue these in, you pretty much flip that model over, glue those together, and kind of mock it up to make sure things are not twisted, right? And then you start gluing these in. And that pretty much writes any kind of twist you have. It's I have to watch it again. There's a very strategic way. He does basically the elevator twist first. Yeah, he does the elevator twist first, and then what he does is glues it to the table, and he gets it all straight and perfectly aligned. Then he goes in and glues in the top and the bottom. Then he goes in and writes the left and the yaw basically on the rudder to make sure it's straight this way, and that's a whole other thing. So then he basically glues the elevator to the surface and kind of pulls the tail back and forth. That's going to be a trick. This is going to be a challenging build. This will be probably those other models where they just glue together with, just glue together. This one glues together, but is a jigsaw puzzle. So this one's going to be an interesting build to do. It does fit together pretty well. But, yeah, it's going to be challenging. I don't know. Thoughts on that? And then, what's even crazier about that, once you get this stuff kind of glued into the fixtures, right? So I'll show you all the... Those are elevator surfaces. And they tab together. right? So there's your elevator surfaces and your rudder. Fits right on top. Now I've got to get that square. I've got to get all this square with this, basically, with no twist in the grid as it comes down. Okay, so that's going to be a really challenging how to do that. Once again, I'm really going to have to go back to Troy's video again and see how to mate up and use the jigs correctly to make sure everything's straight. I also have to make sure, I have not compared to make sure everything was the same length, like length comparison. I also need to do that, especially with these parts. So to make sure everything is, you know, if I glue these two together, they should match. Then when I glue these two together, they should, I have to start with something that is the control. So if I start with basically the back section, okay, let's say I happen to start with the back, which he doesn't do. I probably should start the way he does it. I think he glues the front together. So I glue these two together, and that's my control, right? These are my control. Then I have to take these two, lay them on top, make sure they're the same length between here. And if they're not, you got to trim. I would guess you would just trim off the front of the arrow. The way these glue together, I don't know if it'll show this in the camera, but the way these glue together, let me step over here. They have a little triangle here and and they fit together, right? So they glue together like that. Pretty easy. But if they're not straight and if they're not exactly aligned, and that's what the grid alignment tools are for, right? So when you're gluing up, basically this is what it's going to look like when I actually do it. I'm just pondering it all tonight. I was thinking I was going to do some tonight, but man. So basically what you'll do is you'll lay these in the jig. And I guess you would only really do one at a time. Maybe I'll figure out some way to stand these up, you know, height-wise. I need to print another one, or maybe two more, to get this up to height so I can lay and maybe tape these down to a board in the correct alignment, right? So this one, obviously, there's two different, several different geometries going here, and to get alignment all the way across. Yeah, that's going to be fun. Not really. It's either that or you just do one at a time, which is probably the best thing, right? One glue joint at a time instead of trying to do both. Maybe if I can just get the right height, I'll print two more to hold these up just to get the right height, but I will obviously only do one glue joint at a time. But to get them at the right height and make sure everything's level is a good idea. So I will definitely print probably two more to hold this side up. And you know what? I'll print four more because when I get all of it level, make sure the whole bed's level, I would just want the whole thing supported. So I'll go ahead and print. Well, I'm going to need, honestly, if I think about that, I'm going to need, do I need all that, honestly, you think? Is that overkill for jigs? It might be, but it might not be because things are not fitting together exactly right without tweaking things. See that? So things are not exactly fitting together. Even if I lay that in that jig right there, maybe if I squeeze it together, right? I'm gonna have to go back and watch the build video. He does his build videos really quickly when he does it. So once again, to make sure things match up and make sure that things in the middle here, there's a gap in there. So what do I need to do to close that gap, right? I can stick my X-Acto knife in there. I need to close that thing. That's at least an 1/8 of an inch gap in there. So what do I need to do to close it up where it, and honestly, I can see that I could do a little sanding to make the joints a little tighter so it pulls in a little bit more this way. I need to do that anyway. I don't glue these joints up without sanding them anyway. Trying to glue just plastic up without trying to sand them is just a recipe for failure anyway. So I always run sandpaper over any joint. I guess I'm used to doing that, doing refrigeration welding. You know, I just consider this like another copper joint. You just gotta sand it inside and outside. Inside and outside, and I'll tell you why. A lot of people don't believe in sanding both the inside and an outside joint of a copper weld or anything like that. But let me tell you something about that. Okay. Mikey might be watching that. He'd probably be like, well, that's just extra work. Well, it's extra work. A lot of people will tell you that just doing cleanup on a copper pipe just on the inside or any of the joints are stupid when you can just do it with Silfoss. However, to get ultimate strength, let's say you have any incursion in there, you've got some dirt in there, you've got some liquid in there or whatever, you're not going to get a tight bond. You're ultimately not going to get a tight bond. And I will show you one other thing. Once this all goes together, like once you get all this set together, and even when you lay the other parts, there are some other strengthening parts. Let me show you those. If I can find them. And these are going to be really challenging. I'll kiss my ass, Fat Mike. Not wasting my time. I have nothing better to do. So kiss my ass on that. All right, these are the strengthening parts. Right? Well, I know I'm going to waste my time because I'm going to crash the mother effer, but I might as well have fun doing it. So anyway, these are the other fuselage. You're making me laugh. These are the other fuselage parts that go to strengthen the glue joints. These are the other. So once you glue everything together, you're funny, man. These are the other. You lay these strips with CA, and they're supposed to strengthen the other stuff. You know what? I'm gonna put this motherfucker in a box and send it down to Louisiana and see if you can build a motherfucker. Then kiss my ass. So, yeah. What's up, man? Let me step away for just a second. I don't know. It's a complex build. You know what? I haven't. Well, what I have done in the last 36 minutes is I've definitely laid out parts that I've never laid out before and trying to figure out how things work. So, I mean, once again, go to the videos that are out there. Go to the videos that are out there and try to discern how things go together from the print. And this isn't actually a pretty good print build, but it's it does not discern how to assemble all this stuff. You have to. I mean, honestly, you know, it's a whatever. Well, what could I put together? Well, once again, we'll go glue some joints up here since Mikey wants to see me get high on CA and all that stuff. So yeah, why not, right? Let's just see how this goes together. So let's just try it out. I just want to make sure what I do need. At 36 minutes and then he ain't built shit yet. Well, no shit. Yeah, pretty much. It's, I mean, yeah, you know, man. It's, I don't know. It's all just having fun doing whatever you do, you know. What am I going to do? Sit around, play games or something like that? I can sit around with Paul playing. He's playing, you can go play Arma now. He's got an Arma server up. We could go play Arma again or something like that. Flight Sim. We could sit around and play some, I don't know, Forza, you know. Like our younger days, not too long ago. What? Not really that long ago. I don't know. This is how productive is this? Well, it's not that productive either. However, maybe if I put zip line on the side of this and start delivering, I don't know, something for the cartel. I didn't say that online. I didn't say that on the air. But I don't know. Yeah, 20 years. Cool. Thanks for reminding me, though. Thanks for reminding me. Yeah. Very well aware. Thank you very much. Kiss my ass. Yeah, the 400 just ain't gritty enough for me. What do you like, 75 now? I think you just turned 76. Isn't that what I just heard? I think 75, 76, something like that. I don't know. Listen to that Chris Stapleton song. It could be 75, could be 76, could be 24, could be 25, could be 26. Oh, yeah? How do you feel, though? How do you feel? I feel old as hell. I'm not gonna lie. Now, Kiss. I'm not gonna even start on that. That's fucking funny. Well, you should. You know why you should? Because you got kids and you should feel younger than me. Absolutely. Hell yeah. I don't know that's actually true. I don't know that's actually true. All right, let's try this son of a bitch. Can we do this? Let's just see what it looks like. Does it actually fit together correctly? Does it fit correctly and the jigs together correctly? Let's just do one side at a time, right? In your 20s. I don't know. What did your 20s feel like? Do you remember what your 20s felt like? I have no idea. I don't remember. I'd like to remember my 20s. Or do I? Would I? Would I want to remember my 20s? I don't know. Alright, since Mikey Mike wants to see a glue up, I'm going to do one freaking glue up. And I might do another one. I might not do another one. It all depends. He's challenging me tonight. He's challenging. Let's try this new zip. Let's try this new accelerator. I haven't tried this. I don't know if I like it or not. And the question is this side going to fit now? Well, I'm not really worried about this side. I'm worried about what's going to happen in the freaking middle here. Right? And I can see already. It'll fit. Yeah, it'll fit. We'll make it fit, right? All right. Are you counting my glue joints, Mike? We're going to do some work tonight for you. All right. There's two. There's two. Dos. Can we count tonight in Spanish to do all this? We count Spanish when we do it, right? All right. Make sure we are straight. Bullshit. You said glue some shit. Fuck it, man. We're going for it. We're sending it. Hell, you said go. We're going. Hey, I'm gonna blame everything on you now. If we don't get shit straight, it's all over now. Watch. All right, let's glue the middle together. So let's put that back in there. Let's see if we can get the middle glued together up there. No, there ain't no whoa. Hell, F that. We're going, bro. We're going. All right, we do need go shit, man. He's like, how does it glue anything together? Well, no, it's not going to be straight. It's not going to be. Honestly, I know that. And even if you look at Troy McMillan's build on the Big Bobber, he did the best he can to get it straight. That's what trim is for. Okay. What kind of percentage do you think you can go for to get it straight? Honestly, if I think about setting throws on the elevator later, like that. Let's say it's slightly, well, I can show you already. I've got some control surfaces on some of the other ones that are not quite square. But we can set trim to fix that to a certain extent, right? If it's warped and you got two different things that are twisted, if we got two elevator surfaces that are twisted, that's going to be a problem. But if we've got a couple, maybe like 1 millimeter out, we can fix that with a throw. Not a big deal. Mother effer, you ain't done. Get out of here. What build? Laser. Please. What's that? The tile floor that you did recently in the room that you don't use for broadcasting anymore? What is that room used for? What laser build straight is this? You're full of shit. Laser build. Oh, what are you talking about? The HD car that you raced? It's like laser straight and even you lost even that way? Cool. Just talking smack. I got you. Full of crap. All right. Let's see if we can get the middle one here. Send it. Full send. Full send build, man. We don't care. And if it's sideways, it's sideways. I mean, it'll still fly. kinda. All right, let's get this straight. Best we can, seriously. Just lay in there. We're just gonna put some weight on that. Shit, it's off a little bit. Move it just a little bit. Ouch, it's hot. Dude, that's... Huh. What are we building? Hold on, I'll show you. I'll show you. It's called the Big Bobber. You can look up Troy McMillan on YouTube. But basically... let me show you the picture of it. Damn, that CA kicker's... Actually, that CA kicker's pretty damn good. Thermal... execution right out the bat. What are we building? Basically, it's one of those, you know, like you see up in Alaska with the big wheels and all that stuff. They open back, you know. They call it now. If you look up the Super Cub, look up the Super Carbon Cub, and I think if you look up Tony, what's his name that flies for that, like if you look up Flight Test, the guy that they that's like really badass. That can do all like the wild stunts, like flying down the river with like the wheels on the water and all that stuff, and he doesn't crash and kill himself yet, right? All right, we'll have some sanding to do. All right. So. All right, let's do the other half. Since Mike challenges us tonight, let's just make sure if we do this, one thing we need to do is make sure that when we glue this in, the next piece, that it's the same length, right? Make sure it's not something crazy like 2 or 3 millimeters longer that's going to put the whole thing out of square. It's going to be out of square anyway, but I'm just saying. Okay, that side's the same length. That side seems the same length. Let's go ahead and glue the other side up, right? All right, stick this over here. You know how to get people out of work, and how the hell is that? Out of work? What do you mean out of work? Why would you want to get people out of work? Don't you want to get people into work? What the hell's wrong with you? Are you a Soviet communist now? What are you, like, against the country? You want to get people out of work? You want to get people to go to work? You want people to go to work to pay our Social Security and shit. What the hell's wrong with you? Oh, work out of people. What, you know, if you could spell correctly and like do grammar, I would understand what the F you're talking about. But, you know, I don't understand Mike jibber jab. So, yeah, well, yeah, quite honestly, yes. And everybody's slightly mental. Don't you realize that mental health is the #1 problem in America right now? Thank you. That was a dumb question. Why would you even put that? Of course I'm mental. How long have you known me now? We just... Are you mental for even typing that? You've known me for how many years now? Thank you. Wait. Are you sure you're not 75? Because that was like a dementia type statement. No, that's a whole other issue, is the fumes. But I kind of like them. Back to my childhood. All right. I think we just went full circle there. I think we just went full circle and you found out my entire problem. Do I need to sue all the glue makers that I've been huffing for the last, I don't know, 30 years? Can we do a class action lawsuit for everybody that's mentally effed up for doing models when they were like, I don't know, 10? Because that's when they had good stuff in the glue. They've taken the good stuff out of the glue now. Okay? Seriously. Well, yeah. Why do you think I bought them? What the hell's wrong with you? Come on, bro. Which is kind of false because you don't even know that I haven't even talked about the 3D printers. And I don't have any fumes right now because they're actually just sitting idle right now. But that was a good choice. But I can use that in a lawsuit later. You know, thinking about all the like inland PLA and all that stuff. Yeah, well, absolutely. But then, of course, if you look at it, you know, I'm obviously running against the terms of service because I'm in an enclosed location printing. So, but yeah, something's going to kill me. Might as well be at my own hands, right? All right. Those two, put a little sand on that. Make sure we get a surface adhesion. All right. Since Mike says we haven't done shit, we have to glue up at least part of this sucker. So we can at least admire it on the desktop, right? So let's get this sucker going. Yeah, well, that's why I have not started a whole nother build of this yet. I need to do, you're absolutely correct, I do need to start printing, you know, other parts. Because honestly, this whole back section does not glue together. When you get this built and all this stuff, it just screws together. 2mm or M3 screws for this. So if you do crash the back, or you crash the front, or you crash the wings, yeah, you can just pull them apart and change it. You're absolutely correct. You know, yeah, putting people to work. You're really good at that. Let's see how it is. You know what? Why don't I tell you what I'm gonna do? Since you're so what's the word here that I'm looking for? Ingeniously, make sure I get the right fucking place, the right fucking direction, Mike. Thank you very much. See, I'm thinking about Mike and Mike over in Louisiana. I'm not paying attention to what the F I'm doing. All right. All right, man. Peace out, man. We'll catch you next time, bro. No, you just need to, well, I'll thank you tomorrow, but you just need to keep coming in so I can get some shit done. Right? Yeah, just be a regular fixture, and yeah, well, I'll tell you what, you know, I'll tell you, if you do that, actually, I'll tell you what, before you leave, hold on, before you leave, I actually started printing something that I thought you'd be proud of. In your color, number one. I'm just going to show you just the beginning of it, okay? Don't leave yet. Hold on. All right. And this is going to be in your honor. I know you'll like the blue. Okay? What is it? I'm just going to leave your imagination. I'm going to take this off of here, actually. This is, I didn't finish the back side of this. Okay? But I did this in your honor, and I'll just say this, okay? This does go on the back. Slides on, its key lock in the back here. Actually locks on. That is the back half. I'll have to finish the rest of it. You can kind of get a guess as to what it is. Can you not? I thought you'd like the blue color. No? I'll call it fat. Oh, by the way, all the controls go on the bottom here. And it does have a spot for, it actually is a UAV, right? Got a spot for a FPV camera in the front, and all the electronics go in the middle, and it should be about that wide. Just wing only. There are no other control surfaces, it's just a flying wing. Printed out of PETG. Different material in this. Should last pretty well in the sunlight as well. So, and pretty strong. It's actually stronger than the PLA that I printed here. But I thought I'd show you that. Thought I'd check that out. I will do a final build when I get all this stuff printed out for you. Cool. See you. Thought you'd like the blue. All right, we'll do a couple more glue builds, and yeah, it's cool. It's transparent too. That's what makes it cool. It's transparent, so you can, like the transparent stuff, you can put LEDs in the wing and fly it at night, and it will light the whole freaking model up. You know what I'm talking about? It, like, put them inside the wing. So, man, that's going to be really fucking neat. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to having that. That probably will be, I'm going to print a couple of those, the flying wings. I mean, it's just like the foam flying wings that you know, that we had. But, I mean, and they're going to crash. Who cares? Right? Yeah, that'll be neat, man. And it's just got flapper-ons, you know, or not flapper-ons, but just, what will those be called? Flappivators. Flappivators, or, you know, whatever. Just, that's all it is. So that'll be cool, man. I'm looking forward to actually finishing that build. And building a few more, honestly. Because it'll be simple. It's really just 2 channels, or 3 channels. You know, it's just motor and, that's it. Well, motor and elevators are ailerons. ailerons, right? So that'll be really cool to get that done. Hold it, hold it. Make sure it's straight. It's a little bit off. Got a few seconds to be able to pull it back if you need to and get it straighter. Cool. All right, we got 2 sides here done tonight. Thank you, Mike, for coming in and doing all that and chatting us up while we were doing that. That was really neat. And this is basically what we're looking at. For the most part. We do have 2 other grids to put on there. We could go ahead and glue the other grids on. Might as well tonight. Let's see here. Get that out of the way. Get these out of the way. We'll check the length right here. Make sure. Let's see here. Let's see if things are lining up lengthwise. Because it would suck to this not be the right length and you glue on more. Right now we can correct it. Pretty good, actually. Flip that over. All right. I like building models with people. I think it's kind of cool. Like, I don't know, Mr. I don't know if he's on here tonight, but Mr. McNally, back in the day, that's what we did as kids, man. Our parents would take us to get models at Michael's. There wasn't Hobby Lobby back then. And Friday night, Mom would would get paid. Well, actually, I don't think it was Mom buying the models half the time. I think it was Bill Banlow buying the models. Would buy the models, and man, Mom was gone out dancing and all that stuff, so she was out, doing mom thing without being a parent or a latchkey kid. I'm not complaining about it. What I'm saying is this is how I've kept my mind busy, and even to this day, it's just best that way, honestly. But Mike was right. I'm sure some of the fumes effed me up when I was a kid. Because they had good glue back then, right? All right, let's get the other half mocked up here. We need to do a little bit of sanding. Well, yeah, it was always cool. Like McNally would come around and we would build models together. They would take us to Michael's, and Mom would, you buy your paints and buy the model. You never could get as many paints as you wanted to. That box right there, it still houses a lot of paints that I still had back in the day. I've acquired a lot more. All right, that, and we're gonna do this side. Make sure we get a good strong bond on the plastic. Guess the stream's been okay tonight. Haven't had any complaints on the stream, really. Kind of been watching the chat. Haven't anybody say it sucks. Well, it sucks, I know, but yeah. Technical issues seem to have not been a problem tonight yet. Guess we're not done yet. Right. All right. Let's go ahead and get a sand on this one real quick. Yeah, I am going to build a couple drones, some actual quads instead of UAVs. The one I showed Mike is actually considered a UAV. It's a fixed-wing UAV. But I didn't tell him, but what I've been working on the side is I've been working on some Adrenos and working on some actual autonomous software. So I've been working on some Arduinos and working on, I've actually got my first Raspberry Pi and trying to work with all that to try to get a camera. And there's open software for this, is to have a camera up there that will see your horizon and level the plane and work GPS, and you can put a gyro in, which will obviously help everything else out. So I'm working on that as well, because ultimately what I would like to do is just send the plane and let it fly by itself. If it crashes, it crashes. I mean, if the plane is flyable and everything is set on the CG correctly and all that stuff is set correctly, it should plot its course, it should do its mission and come back. And that's it. Because honestly, let's be honest about this. If I go to the FAA yellow pages of all the crashes that have ever happened, and they report every one of them, okay, 90% of the crashes that happen, I think it could have changed the statistics, but at one point in time, there was 90% pilot error, 5% weather, 3% mechanical, and the other percentage was not ever determined. So ultimately, yes, it is better to take the pilot out of the plane. Hate to say that. And it's going to be there at one point in time. AI is getting so good now to be able to make decisions that we cannot make faster than we cannot make. And they can pull on data from... We can only pull in data from things that we have been given, read about, and all that stuff. But it can pull data from everywhere else that we cannot pull data from. So ultimately, it has more data resources and it has more snapshots to make those decisions. It almost seems like iRobot, where, you know, at some point in time, let's hope that I'm not in a drowning car, and it decides that I have a 12.3 more chance to pull me out of the car and surviving than the kid. But it's a reality. It could actually happen that way at some point. All right, let's glue this up. And we need something on the side to hold it up. Let's get all that glued up. I do not like the way that fits at all. Any of it. Probably should do the lock side first. Let's do the lock side first. This one actually has a tab that it fits in. You can see the lock on it, and it actually fits in the tab. So let's do that side first, and then we'll jig up that side, right? So let's hit this side first. Get that out of the way. Make sure it's flat. Don't glue it to the mat. And now we can, instead of using the jig, yeah, the jig's not going to work for the backside, is it? Oh, right there it does. No, it doesn't. Well, how the hell are you going to use that for the back here? Oh, you know what? There it is right there. Okay, so it's slotted where it does fit in there pretty well. Hold on. No, it does not. Oh, it can't. Okay, so his jigs work for the middle, but they don't work too well for the back. That's something we need to think about. The next thing. We can fix that. It doesn't fit down in the jig all the way. I can't show you that, but he should have some cutouts. He should have at least a cutout. No, we may have to redesign this. So he should have had some cutouts for this crossbar right here. When you lay that jig in there, there should have been at least a cutout on either side in that angle that you can lay that in there and then it will line up, because you can't do that. You have to pull this jig way back over here, which we can do that. We'll do that way, right? But it would have been cool. Maybe, oh, there you go. Hold on. So he has an angle here. Can we use that as the thing? Okay, see this angle right here. Maybe instead of having a slot, we'll just use the angle right there, right? And we'll push that up against there. Let's try that. Once again, we're learning as we go. There's not a lot of this described in any of the videos on any of that stuff, right? So you just gotta have to wing it. And if you've done enough of these models and stuff, it should be pretty easy to figure out. However, if you haven't, well, here we are. Okay. Now we got to do this side. Let's go ahead and do this side. We'll go ahead and do the foot first, like we did on the last one. The Big Bobber. Yeah, go check out some of Flight Test stuff. I mean, Flight Test, I have not bought any of their stuff yet, but I will. Just because they have some really cool stuff. A lot of their stuff is foam board. I've never built with foam board before. But it has its unique advantages to be using as a build material. Number one, the power to weight ratio on a foam build is just crazy. So that's perfect. If you do line that up, that angle right there, so he did do it correctly. That angle right there, if you put that for that crossbar right up against that support is exactly the correct angle. So we should have the correct angles. If we glue all this correctly, everything should be within a certain, within a few degrees of being straight, technically. Yeah, so in the video, when he's putting this up there, he's just showing you really quickly how he's doing, but he's not telling you about all the angles on these jigs and all that stuff, right? So you've got to kind of, I mean, it's not that hard to figure out, but I mean, damn, somebody's never done it before? Come on, bro. All right. Can I get that level? All right, jigs to the side, thick strange material up here. Yeah, we're not, that glue up was not straight at all. We'd have been better off actually laying it on the mat, gluing it up. Because I can tell you, this one's flat. For the most part, it's flat. This one's not. There's a lot of wiggle in the back of it. This one, so this one's twisted. This one is this way, right? But we can fix that. That'll be cool. All right, so basically how this is going to glue up in the end is these are going to mate together. These are going to mate as one. And this is, let's mock this up. Just to see how cool this looks. Because I'm excited about seeing how this looks. I think everybody else is, right? It's always neat when you see things come together and it actually starts looking like a freaking airplane instead of a bunch of pieces on the freaking floor. So, let's do this real quick. We'll just tape the back together. So this is going to be the top. And your final assembly, I don't know if you can see that, but there is and I'll show that later. I'm not going to go into it right now. This will be night one of the Big Bobber build, right? So we'll just glue that together with tape. And then basically, we split the frame out a little bit. And we basically go like this. And we can actually, could we glue this together? No, we can't glue it together. It's got to actually go together at some point. But turn it the right way, Mike. actually glue that together. Yeah, I have to do a lot of cleanup. It slots in at the bottom of the thing here. Well, you can see it on this part. It's got some squares on the bottom of it. And it basically just slots in, right? So that's where we are on that. So just to lay this out, kind of get an idea. So we're going to be like that. And let's glue it down to the table. Just to get a sense of what this is going to look like. Because I need to look at the other parts that go on this too and see how they fit together. Because we've got some other parts that go... We got two bulkheads that go in the middle here. And I'll show those in a second. And then obviously we've got some other... We've got all this stuff that cross on the other frame portions here, right? So let's just do this. I want you to get a quick glue down. So you can get a sense of what this looks like. All right, tape this in. And the tail actually is, you can see that the tail is not going to be, so we're going to have to, it's going to be nose high at this point because there's a break in the fuselage for a dihedral. So let's bring this in a little bit. Get a little bit more. So I'm just looking at the spacing here to see where the spacing, and I'm looking about 3 inches here in between spacing. So 81 millimeters approximately. Yep, okay, 81 millimeters. Pretty close. About 3 inches, right? So, so basically, where are my little... I've got some other pieces over here I gotta find. Okay, so the tabs to put the... We're not going to glue them in tonight, but just to mock it up. So there's a couple tabs that we need. Are they in this bag? Well, they're not in that bag. They're in the bag with the control horns, right? There's so many different pieces of this thing. Like this one, this piece. Stuff out of the way here. Hate when my desktop gets cluttered. All right. So, the instructions out of the way. This piece no, I think they took it out. I don't even think I need this piece anymore because I'm about to look at that. Oh, you know what? This is the piece for the elevator. So the way this goes together in here, we've got some printed tabs. Should be one, probably two. Yeah, two printed tabs. Okay. And they should just slide in to the slots here. All right, and then this thing pretty much just slots together with the most of your tabs. And it's going to sit right here on the top. I'll put a piece of tape on that. Get that lined up, make sure that fits correctly. Yeah, Mike's right. I get more work done. Honestly, I probably get more work done when people are in here. So I do appreciate people coming in and commenting because it gives me a little bit of a, I don't know, like what's the next step, right? I can do that on my own fairly well. But yeah, definitely better having people in watching. Not that they're interested, but it's cool to have the chit chatter in there. So you can see on the bottom it has the 4 nubs. We'll have screws going through, right? So this basically will sit on the top and just like that. And then the rudder horizontal stabilizer. This is actually not called a rudder. That's kind of funny that I actually named it rudder. They named it rudder 1 in the build. It's actually not the rudder. They should correct it to be called horizontal stabilizer, right? So the horizontal stabilizer gets glued in. And I'm sure that won't droop once it gets all glued together, because that would really suck. I also need to cut the brim off this a little bit more, and I need to cut off the front of this. This front portion here is actually, I don't know if you can see it. It's hard to see. If I can show it to you. Sometimes you print this stuff and it comes with a support. I'm going to show the support right here. You see this line right here? And we get on the camera here. There you go. You see the separation here? So that is excess material to support. So when you print this, you don't want this. And you just pretty much just lop it off. I do have 2 ways to lop it off. X-Acto knife, electric knife, which is probably the best way to do it. Or basically you can kind of pinch it. I don't suggest that, especially on a part that you could really kind of break really easily. But you see the inside of it. The inside has the same line right here. Okay, so you're basically going to take all this material off, and you're only, that whole section right there, off. We're not going to do it tonight. We'll do it when we start mounting up the rudder and all that stuff. But this horizontal stabilizer, we'll just glue it on for tonight just to get a look at it. See how this stuff meets up. You know, when Boeing builds a plane, or any of these people build a plane, they just don't throw the plane together. I mean, they do mock-ups before they build a plane, right? I mean, they just don't toss it together. They might sometimes. They might, back in the day, well, nowadays they might toss it together in a CAD and see what happens, right? Put it on the model, see what happens. But back in the day, there was no model. All right, so that's a pretty good little mock-up there, I think. What would be left to do if we were actually doing this? Well, there you go, just there. Okay, and we'll glue this down. Let's glue the ass end of that down to the table. And there is in the back of the fuselage here, there's actually a spot where it fits those triangles actually fits and slots into the back of the fuselage here. At somewhat of a weird angle, I might add. Okay, let's get that mounted to the table if we can. Yeah. That's not going to be enough. I think, honestly, the best way to do this, accomplish this, if you're going to try to get it straight, is to build a jig for all this. It would not be hard to build a jig, to set all this stuff in, to glue it all together, to make sure everything is square. I mean, if I'm thinking about that really quickly, U-shape on the bottom, you could screw, have it, you know, have the angle on it where you can lay everything in there. Maybe some little clamps where you lay things down and glue it together. I don't think it would be that difficult to do. In fact, I might come up with a 3D printed one. Because I could see myself building quite a few of these things. All right. Just to kind of mock up, right? And I think we're a little aggressive on where we need to be with the fuselage here, but yeah. I think that's as far as I'm going to go tonight, but you get the idea of how these things all go together. little tape around that. So this would be kind of like this. And I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to just glance down the back side of this. We'll just kind of tape it together and then glance down the back side of this and see if it even looks somewhat straight. I'm sure it's not going to, but that's our goal, ultimately, is to have a straight fuselage. Right? Okay. We'll put a little tape here. And one little twisted. All right. Let's take a look. Let's put this back up here. And put a little bit of tape. See if we get it where it needs to be. All right, right there. All right, a little tape on that. Oh, crap. We didn't put the middle section in. That's okay. You know, it won't matter. We're just going to take a look. Okay. Get this stuff out of the way. Let's get all this crap out of the way. That's kind of like a cheese setup that I got going on here. I wish, once again, I wish I had better. I'm going to come up with jigs to assemble this stuff. I might come up with one pretty quickly, actually. Just so I have a little bit better control over all this stuff. All right. Let's just take a look down from the ass end and see if this even looks straight at all. Even though we missed this one that's supposed to center all this stuff up, which kind of stupid. Let's fix it really real quick. So basically, just undo these, slide this out, right? This. All right, let's back that up a little bit. Glue that back down. Take it back down. All right, now. Let's get that somewhat down. All right, cool. Now, let's put this in. And you can see the two control for the control surfaces back here are down at the bottom. So I know that's the bottom for sure. And that would slot and go right. I'll do a little sanding on those to get those actually fit. But yeah, I'm going to have to do a little bit of work to get all that to fit correctly with the right angles. So, but then that basically slides in. Boom. All right. Well, we've got a lot of work to do to finish this. I'm not going to lie. It's going to be a lot of work to get everything somewhat straight as best we can. Well, that's going to be a damn good start on the model. Thank you, Mike. Say it again. And I think the only thing left to do tonight is kind of show the other model that we have going on over here. It's called the Q Trainer. I was going to do some builds on that, but there's really not a whole lot to do. The only thing I'm waiting for, let me turn the camera over here so you can see that one. All right. Got this one going on over here. And there's not a whole lot left to do on it, honestly. Change the camera so you can see it. So So this one's based off of the trainer that, if you've been around the modeling long enough, this is based off the trainer 30 and 60 that were built a long time ago, balsa covering and all that stuff. Okay. They've taken that print and they basically turned it into the same thing that you can do with all the rest of this stuff, right? So, this basically, I think, would be considered 60 size. I am going to put the motor that's going to go on this one is going to be a D35 42 1250 kV. It'll run off a 3S. Okay, I am going to have to switch the shaft around. So the mount on this shaft has got to go that way. Okay, and I'll show you here in a second why. I need the mount plate here is what's got to hold, and the can's got a shaft, but the shaft's got to go that way, and I'll show you that here in a second. So the way you pop, I like this. It's ingenious. This is built into the STL, so it's got its own little canopy. Got locks. Pretty cool. I'll take the wing off for just a second. Set that over here. All right. And the reason why the motor shaft has to be turned around backwards is because of the mounting position that you see here on the front. Right? So basically that shaft, instead of going this way and being a rear mount, has to be turned around this way to fit down in here. Basically, if I can get it up in there, you can just kind of see it. Okay? So that's what I got to do. Not too difficult to do. C-pin comes off. Set screw comes out. 2 of them, actually. 2 set screws. Come on, camera. Focus. 2 set screws on the shaft. And they're probably Loctited in. In fact, if you look really closely, I'm going to get up close, you can see the Loctite. I don't know if it'll focus or not, but there's a lock. You can see the Loctite where they put the Loctite here. So I will have to heat this up. It's probably going to be red Loctite, which does not come out easily at all. And I'll probably have to heat this top off to get those set screws out without stripping those 2 set screws out. Because if I strip those 2 out, game over with this motor. Okay? So I'll have to do that. Pretty easy after that point in time. 2 ways to push the shaft this way. Actually, 3 ways. You can beat it with a hammer. Once you release this and release that, it actually just pushes through the armature. Not a good idea to do that. You can use, I don't have an arbor press. You can set an arbor press and you can press it through. Or you can do it with a vise. I do have a vise that's in that underneath that table down there. I'll probably set the vise up, put a hole in a biker plate right there, and press that shaft all the way through the front. Okay? So that's the one thing we have to do, because it mounts from this side, and we got to put that in that motor that way and have that shaft coming out this way for the prop. Not a big deal to do. Never done it before, but we'll get it done. Okay? And then the only thing left to do, I think kind of cool in this model, everything is 3D printed, including the wheels. You can see that. Okay, and I hadn't glued these in here. You can pop these out, actually. Let's see. I can pop there. In fact, you can see a rim. Here's a rim right here that I had printed extra that was kind of screwed up. Actually, this one was more screwed up than that one was. Damn camera. But anyway, the rim, let's pop these out here. I don't even have them glued in. Right? You can just pop the rim out. Change the tire if you need to. So I got that going. They mount pretty easily on the side. And I did set this one up with nose wheel gear. It's not steerable. It is not steerable. Okay? I could have put tail wheel on. That's what this pin is for. I could have put a steerable tail gear out there, which is what this rim is for. You see the difference in the size. Okay, and I didn't print the tire. That's around here somewhere. But anyway, that would have gone on the back right there with the pin coming out and linked to the rudder. Okay, linked to the rudder so it would turn. But I just went with a fixed nose gear because honestly it's the best way to go. Because most of the places you take off from are not grass, and you actually can steer the damn thing. And the other thing I'll say that I screwed up on, that I'm not happy about, and I'll show you this right now. And I don't know if you can even see it, but if I turn the plane this way, I bet you can see it. You see a problem here? Look at the landing gear right there. It's slightly out of square. In fact, when I set this on the ground, it's going to want to turn right. You can see this gear is not mounted square to the fuselage. Problems, problems, problems. Is it going to fly? Yeah, it'll fly for about 30 seconds. I'm just kidding. No, it's going to fly. I'm not going to get any wrong. Okay. Battery mount. Okay. ESC will probably be mounted on the side over here. Probably do the ESC on the wall. Could mount it underneath. There is airflow into that area. So I might mount it underneath and just put it underneath there. And put the battery on top, the 3S battery on top. So kind of like, so 3S battery, right? So basically just either way you want to do it. Probably turn the battery this way and strap it down that way. As far forward as it can get with CG, right? Servos. This model does not, it's only 4-channel. So motor, ailerons, elevator, horizontal surface. Those will mount here in the compartment. So, and they'll have surface that run back. In fact, it's actually in the model. You can see where the push wire comes through the back. Let me turn it around this way. You can see where the push rod comes through the back. Whoop! Push rod comes through the back. And I haven't put the control horn on. In fact, I'm not happy about the, well, I'm not happy about these hinges. Let me take this off, because I haven't actually glued this on yet. Okay. Vertical stabilizer. Love it. Hate the hinge setup. So, once again, on the model, on the assembly instructions, they said glue the hinges in. With what hinges? And it says CA hinges. Well, I'm thinking, okay, well, these nylon hinges will work. Well, they work, but look at the damn gap on the damn thing. Damn thing's going to want to flutter all over the place. So what I'm going to have to do, and I ordered some, is to do a true CA hinge on this. Well, basically, it's a piece of paper. I'm going to cut all this off, get rid of all this. And I've already glued this, but I'll show you how I'm going to do it. So these are the elevators, or excuse me, ailerons that go on the wing over there. And you can see that this is not going to work. Okay? It's not going to work. In fact, it's not going to work so much that I'm kind of mad at myself for even gluing this whole damn thing in. I'm not going to say that it won't fly like that, but this whole separation in between the two is just going to want to cause flutter all over the fucking place. So I'm going to cut all these out, make them flush. I will get rid of all the nylon pinned hinges and go with a true glued-in C8 hinge, which is basically all it is a true glued C8 hinge is just a piece of paper with cotton fiber on it, and you wick onto it CA. So the paper is your hinge. And I do have other size hinges. I did buy some other hinges, but I don't think, for example, okay, I did buy some other hinges, because ultimately I like to have nylon hinges, but that nylon hinges will take a whole redevelopment of the model to get that hinge to sit where it needs to be. Like, for example, I bought some other nylon hinges here that are a lot smaller. Okay, so the size of this hinge, you can see the size difference. It's about half the size of that hinge. And the knuckle between the two, the diameter that's keeping this thing from actually slotting in all the way, is about half the distance as well. But that's not going to even work. It's not going to work. It's too difficult. If the STL had a good slot in here, I had to cut that shit myself. Okay, I cut it with the electric knife in the scalpel, and it's horrible. It's not a, and I don't know if it'll actually show. Come on. Anyway, it's not going to. I'm not happy with the distance, and I'm not happy with actually the way it's really secure. Don't get me wrong, you can't pull this thing out with the nylon hinges, but I'm just worried about the flutter, right? Because of the airflow coming over this wing and going down through the slot here, it's just going to want to make that thing want to flutter. So I'm going to close that up. And the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to cut all these hinges off flush and do it with the CA hinges. That's it. Okay. How does this go together? Oh, and here's the rudder. Same thing with the damn rudder. Okay. I have the same problem with the rudder. Okay. The rudder's the same problem. The CA hinge just does not work. There's a gap in between the fuselage and that when I put it on there. It's not going to work. So I'm going to cut that off as well, fill the hole, and I'll cut a whole nother slot for the CA hinge. Maybe a couple slots. And you can see where I already got pissed off and already cut one hinge off here. Because I was just like, this is not going to work. This is not going to work at all. So I don't know how the German engineers of this stuff, which are great. I love it, right? But they don't detail themselves on how to do the hinges. They say CA hinges. I'm like, okay, well, this is a CA hinge, but it's not a true CA hinge. It's a CA nylon pinned hinge, which doesn't work on this model. Because you get this. Okay. This would work if I wanted to cover it. This would work perfectly if I covered it with monocoat. That'd be awesome. But I'm not going to cover it. You would just cover up the hinge and cover the gap a little bit, right? And you would actually cover the entire backside. But I don't need that because it's not a balsa model that has an open trailing edge here or an open leading edge here on the front that I need to close off. So that's how you would normally fix that problem, but I'm not doing that here. So, but pretty cool the way all this pins in. It's actually a pretty cool little build. Ultimately, that tail surface just pins in with the pin on the bottom, straight at the back, right? On the back side, you just run that tail pin in there, and then 2 screws, and that's it, right? So if you need, once again, if you crash it, boom, right? If you crash it, you just pull the pin out, put the whole new tail surface in, vertical tail surface, or whatever. Now, if you crash the fuselage, well, that's a whole nother ball game. But the damn thing is strong. This is PLA. It's not lightweight PLA like the other ones, and it's pretty damn strong. So, pretty classic design. Rubber band on the wing, right? These will eventually get installed. It's actually backwards. This side goes over here, right? You got elevator surfaces. Boom, boom. Cool. Excuse me. Aileron surfaces. Yeah. Now, what about all the other stuff that I've actually finished building for the most part, but haven't finished it, right? How do you actually finish a model out once you're done building it and you want to do paint and decals and all that other stuff, right? So I'm just going to set this aside for a second and give you a prime example real quick of what I'm talking about. How do you do a finish out? Once you get one of these things built, how do you do a finish out? For example, if I said I want to do some decals on this, I want to do some paint on it, I want to make it more realistic, I want to do some, maybe I want to do some numbering on it, right? I want to put I don't know, logos. I want to do some little things on the front. Maybe I don't want to paint the windows. Maybe I don't want to paint the windows. Maybe I want to put stickers on them. Maybe I want to put stickers on the wings. I want to put some cool stickers on the front. I want to put some cool stickers on all of it. Down the fuselage. Because the only option is to paint otherwise. Okay. Not happy with trying to paint these things, honestly. Plastic and paint does not go together. Best thing about this model is the canopy. Magnetic canopy. See the magnet right there? Okay. Electronics are already installed in this. I'll just show you a quick deal. I think this motor, this is a 2S. Okay, this is a 1200 kH ESC mounted on the side. Dean connector, and then I'm not going to take the wing off, but everything else is up in there. This particular one, this particular model, has flaperons, okay? So I have split the ailerons, and they are on 2 separate channels, and they operate independently. That's why you see them both down as flaperons right now. If I can show you that. They're down slightly. Because I'm actually using them as flaps and ailerons at the same time, i.e. flaperons, right? So I have that one set up with flaperons. That one needs paint and decals, which I'll show this too. And I don't know if Red's on here, but man, I really wish I could use your help on some decals, yo. So I did buy a Cricut, pre-cut, whatever. I did buy it. Okay, and I made a test cut. And you can see the numbers on here. And all the, there's a little design down here that would be kind of cool. It's Eclipse Aircraft. It has a little symbol, like almost, it's kind of cool. You can see it right there. But the problem was, permanent vinyl. When I start peeling back the backer, obviously the cut wasn't deep enough. Okay, so it does not peel back on the vinyl. If I try to peel this back, I'm not going to do it. But on one, I threw one away earlier because as I'm folding it over like really tight, trying to pull it back like 90 degrees and trying to peel it off, the backer comes off at the same time with the cut stuff. Can I go over with a scalpel and a razor blade? Yeah. I think I need adjustments on the Cricut to get this stuff, the backer to lift, to leave the stuff. Then I can put the other, transfer material on this. Because I did print some of this stuff. I was really excited to think, oh, okay, well, I can do some of this stuff. Yeah. Red, you're right. It's not that easy. I wish you had kept yours so I could pay you for it, but I'm going to have to learn that too. So I do have the Cricut. I haven't quite learned how to work it all yet, but I'll get there. Yeah. What's the next project? Ooh, well, obviously, that's the next project. And the other one, I got 2 of these. That's one of them. I always like to build 2. I always like to build 2. I always like to build 2 because 1 is never enough, right? This one, same thing as the other one, except I didn't put flaperons on it. It does not have flaperons. The ailerons on a Y harness, so you can't lower them then turn them. You can only turn them. So a little bit different on this one. Just built it a little bit different. Well, yeah, same thing though. Same setup on the ESC. And all that stuff. I didn't glue this one to the side yet, but I will. A little messy in there right now. But same setup. 1200 amp on 2S. Yeah. Should give me about, I don't know, shoot for maybe, if I get 5 minutes, I'll be great. 5 to 10 minutes on the runtime. Right? 5 minutes on the runtime. 5 to 7, I'm thinking 7.5. It's not that, okay, these are all, also, I didn't say, these are lightweight PLA. They are made with lightweight PLA. I did these other ones over here and all the big bobber. These 2 are printed in lightweight PLA, so they're extremely light. They are, without the battery in them, they are right around 1,000 grams. Okay, so different material. The PLA's ones, the larger ones, they're going to have to run on 3S or 4S. The smaller ones that are printed in lightweight PLA, we'll be able to run them on 2S. And they should fly really good. I'm excited about maiden flight for both of them. So that'll be cool. So anyway, it's been a pretty productive night, I guess. We really don't have anything on the build plate tonight. We're kind of just... really just kind of chilling tonight. I just really want to see how this thing is going to go, because this is our next major build here, and I was really just kind of seeing how this thing went together, seeing if it was actually going to be feasible, how big it was going to be. I mean, it's going to be decent size. I think the wing itself is going to be almost 4 foot. I think with the addition of the fuselage here, which I didn't accommodate for with the spreading out of the wings, we were over 36 inches wide already. And then with the extra 6 or 8 inches with the width of the fuselage here, we're going to be 4 foot. Easy, right? So I'm looking forward to flying this one. Should be interesting. So I think we're going to call it an end to the night tonight. What time is it? 10:30. We did pretty good. So I appreciate everybody coming around, sticking around, seeing all the craziness that happens over here. Sometimes seemed to be a fun night, and we will get back to the building again. Hoping for spring to come up and hoping to get out and do some fishing and stuff like that. I think next weekend there's going to be some interesting stuff come up. Hopefully we'll do some broadcasts from RCDRL out in Grand Prairie, and maybe we'll do some remote control drag racing and see the action out there. I know it's it's a memorial. I'm not gonna spill the guts yet, but there's gonna be some memorial stuff going on. There's gonna be some really cool action. I'm really excited to see some really fast RC cars. So yeah, we're gonna do that, and so hopefully we might do another stream, part 2 of this build, get the kind of things tweaked out. I'm really excited to see how this thing is actually going to line up and all that stuff. So we'll come back to it, and thanks for tuning in. We'll say arrivederci, ciao. Have a good week. Have a great weekend. Happy spring on Monday, and we'll catch you guys later. Peace out, yo.